The music was loud, the lights brighter than his ego. Ethan adjusted his cufflinks and smiled at his reflection in the tinted car window as the driver pulled up to the Grand Hotel entrance. He could already picture the looks on everyone's faces when they saw him walk in with Vanessa on his arm. Tonight wasn't just a party. It was his moment to prove he'd moved on, that he'd traded quiet loyalty for luxury and thrill. The valet opened the door, cameras flashed, and Ethan stepped out like he owned the place. Vanessa giggled beside him, clinging to his arm, her red dress shimmering under the chandeliers that lined the entrance. "You sure your wife won't be here?" she teased. He smirked. "Ex-wife. And no. She wouldn't dare show up where real power gathers." He said it loud enough for the bystanders to hear, relishing the whispers that followed. Inside, the ballroom glittered with gold and champagne. Politicians, business magnates, celebrities, all exchanging fake smiles and subtle competition. Ethan loved it. Every compliment fed the part of him that once feared being invisible. Vanessa posed for pictures, her perfume cutting through the air like sugar and smoke. Ethan leaned in and whispered, "This is it, babe. The kind of crowd I belong to." She smiled, but her eyes scanned the room nervously. "Still, if she shows up, what will you do?" He chuckled. "Amara? Please. She's too busy saving the world or whatever charity thing she does now. This," he gestured at the glittering hall, "this is real success." He didn't notice the reporters whispering near the corner, nor the host's assistant rushing through the crowd with a list of late arrivals. He was too busy being seen. Too busy pretending the emptiness inside wasn't echoing louder with every laugh he forced. The night felt good. Too good. And that was the first warning he ignored. Across the city, Amara sat quietly in front of a mirror, fastening a delicate silver bracelet around her wrist. Her assistant straightened her gown, soft gold silk that moved like liquid when she walked. She took a deep breath, steady and calm, though her heart raced beneath her ribs. "Are you sure you want to go?" her friend Lila asked. "You don't have to prove anything." Amara smiled faintly. "I'm not going to prove anything, Lila. I'm going because my foundation was invited, and because hiding means he wins." Outside, a motorcade waited, the presidential escort glinting under the city lights. The president himself had insisted she attend. "You've done more for this nation's women than most of my ministers," he'd said. "You deserve that stage." Amara had laughed politely then, but now, as she looked at herself in the mirror, she felt something heavier than pride, closure. She wasn't walking into that gala for revenge. She was walking in to end a chapter that had already burned itself out. Back at the hotel, the orchestra swelled. Ethan lifted his glass as his business partners gathered around him. "To moving on," one of them joked, and the men laughed. Ethan grinned, pretending not to care when someone muttered, "She used to run this event, didn't she?" He swallowed the annoyance and kissed Vanessa's hand, louder than necessary. New chapter, new beginnings. But the words tasted bitter. He caught sight of his reflection again, handsome, successful, empty. When the host tapped the microphone, the chatter dimmed. "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome tonight's guest of honor." Ethan's ears perked. "Guest of honor?" Vanessa leaned in. "You think it's the minister again?" He shrugged. Then the voice continued, "Mrs. Amara Brooks, founder of the National Women's Initiative, arriving with His Excellency, the President of the Republic." The room erupted in applause. Ethan froze. For a second, he thought he'd misheard. Then the double doors opened, and silence fell like a curtain. There she was. Amara. Dressed simply, elegantly, walking side by side with the president himself. She wasn't flaunting anything, but her presence filled the room effortlessly. Every camera turned. Every whisper grew louder. "Isn't that Ethan's wife?" someone hissed. "Ex-wife," another corrected, though even they sounded unsure. Ethan's throat went dry. Vanessa's grip on his arm tightened. "That's her," she whispered. He didn't answer. The president smiled at Amara, guiding her toward the front. The host announced, Mrs. Brooks' organization has been working closely with the government to empower thousands of women across the country. Tonight, we honor her dedication and vision. The applause thundered again. Ethan forced a laugh, pretending not to care. Guess she finally got lucky, he muttered, but his hand shook slightly as he lifted his drink. Vanessa studied him, sensing the tension. You okay? Fine, he snapped, too quickly. Just fine. The president's speech continued. Cameras flashed as Amara thanked the organizers, her voice calm, composed, far from the trembling woman he'd once yelled at in their kitchen. Ethan couldn't stop staring. Every word she said hit him like a mirror, reminding him of what he'd thrown away. When she finished, the crowd stood in ovation. Ethan stayed seated, his jaw tight. Unbelievable, he whispered under his breath. Vanessa shifted uncomfortably, whispering, Ethan, people are looking. He stood abruptly, muttering, I need air. Outside, the night felt colder. He loosened his tie, heart pounding. How could she be here, with him of all people? The president? It didn't make sense. Was she doing this to humiliate him? To prove something? The thought burned. He turned and saw flashes of cameras near the entrance again. Amara was coming his way, talking softly with the president before they separated. She caught his eyes for a fleeting moment. No anger. No smugness. Just quiet indifference. That hurt more than anything. He wanted to say something, anything, but his throat locked up. Instead, he watched as she passed him, her perfume lingering, the same scent she'd worn years ago, back when she still believed in him. His fists clenched. Vanessa called from behind, Ethan. Come back inside. He didn't move. The crowd swallowed Amara again, and he felt like the floor had shifted beneath him. Inside the ballroom, Amara mingled with diplomats and philanthropists, her laughter soft, effortless. She didn't need to seek attention, it came to her naturally. People admired her poise, the quiet strength she carried. Meanwhile, Ethan returned to the bar, drowning his confusion in another glass. You okay, man? His colleague asked. Ethan forced a smirk. Never better. But the lie sounded hollow. The rest of the night blurred into murmurs and stolen glances. Wherever he turned, he saw her, graceful, confident, untouchable. The very thing he'd once tried to suppress in her now burned brighter than ever. And everyone saw it. Everyone knew who truly won. As the music slowed and the event neared its end, Ethan stood alone near the window, watching Amara thank the president one last time. She turned, scanning the room briefly, and their eyes met again. This time, she smiled, not mockingly, not triumphantly, but kindly, as if she'd already forgiven him. That broke him completely. He looked away quickly, blinking hard. Vanessa reappeared, annoyed. I've been looking everywhere for you. Let's go, people keep staring. He nodded silently, his arrogance gone, replaced by something he couldn't name. Regret. Fear. Realization. And as they stepped outside, a group of guests whispered behind him, she's incredible. Can you believe she used to be married to him? Ethan heard every word. Each one cut deeper than the last. If you're still watching this story, make sure you subscribe, because what happens next will show you how life humbles even the proudest hearts. Ethan couldn't sleep that night. The party replayed in his head like a film stuck on repeat, every smile she gave, every clap of applause that wasn't for him. He sat on the edge of the bed, tie discarded, the city light slicing through the blinds. Vanessa was asleep beside him, breathing softly, unaware of the storm behind his eyes. He rubbed his temples and muttered under his breath, how did she do it? How did she get there? He opened his phone. Every headline screamed her name. Amara Brooks stuns at state gala with president. From heartbreak to hero, Amara's inspiring comeback. And under one post, someone had commented, meanwhile, her ex-husband was spotted looking lost at the bar. Karma's timing is perfect. He slammed the phone down, chest tightening. It wasn't just humiliation, it was exposure. The mask he'd built over the years was cracking, and everyone could see through it. He got up, pacing the room. Vanessa stirred and opened her eyes. Ethan? It's 3 a.m. He stopped, forcing a smile. Go back to sleep. But she sat up, wrapping the sheets around her. You've been weird ever since that gala. You've barely talked to me. What's going on? He hesitated, then said flatly, nothing. Nothing, she repeated, frowning. You've been scrolling through her pictures for hours. Don't think I didn't notice. His jaw tightened. It's not what you think. Oh, it's exactly what I think, she said bitterly. You're obsessed. You can't stand that she's doing better than you. Admit it. Enough, Vanessa, he snapped, louder than he meant to. She stared at him, that sharp, calculating stare she used whenever she was about to twist the knife. You think she still cares about you? She doesn't. She's on a stage you'll never touch again. And you can't handle that. He took a deep breath, hands shaking slightly. I made her who she is. Vanessa laughed. No, Ethan. You broke her. Life made her who she is. The words hit harder than any slap. He turned away, jaw locked, but inside something fractured. Vanessa shook her head, got out of bed, and muttered, I'm not going to be your rebound ghost. When you figure out what you want, don't call me. The door slammed, and the silence that followed was unbearable. Ethan sank onto the bed, staring at nothing. For the first time in years, he felt small. The next morning, the world moved without him. Social media exploded with Amara's pictures. The president's office had issued a statement praising her organization's work. Her foundation had just secured the biggest grant in the country. And Ethan, the once powerful businessman, was trending only as her ex. By noon, he'd lost 2 clients. By evening, one of his investors pulled out. The whispers had turned to headlines, Ethan Brooks' empire shakes under controversy. Someone even leaked old photos, ones that showed his past arrogance, his parties, his scandals. He stormed into his office, slamming the door so hard that his assistant flinched. Who leaked this? No one knows yet, sir, she stammered. But the timing, it's bad. The board wants a statement. Tell them I'll fix it, he growled. But as soon as she left, he sat down, head in his hands. He couldn't fix this. Not this time. That night, a soft knock came at his office door. He looked up, ready to snap, but froze. It was her. Amara. She stood there in a white blouse and jeans, simple yet disarming. No cameras. No entourage. Just her. He stood slowly, unsure whether to be angry or ashamed. What are you doing here? I heard about your company, she said softly. I wanted to make sure you're okay. He laughed bitterly. You came to gloat? She shook her head. Ethan, not everything is about pride. I'm here because despite everything, I don't like seeing anyone fall. He clenched his fists. Don't act like you care. I did care, she said quietly. Once. More than you'll ever understand. He looked away, his voice sharp. You think you're better than me now? No, she said, stepping closer. I just became the person you told me I could never be. That stung. He met her eyes, anger fading into regret. I didn't mean what I said back then. I was trying to survive, to build something. You built it by tearing people down, she replied, her tone calm but piercing. By tearing me down. You told me I was too soft, too emotional, too ordinary to stand beside you. He swallowed hard. And look at you now. She smiled sadly. Yes. Look at me now. But Ethan, it didn't have to be this way. For a moment, the tension softened. He saw the woman he'd once loved, the woman who believed in him when no one else did. The silence between them was heavy with all the words they'd never said. "Do you ever miss it?" he asked quietly. "Sometimes," she admitted. "But then I remember who I became when I stopped begging for your love." He flinched. "That's not fair." "It's the truth," she said simply. "You taught me how to fight, not against the world, but against the version of myself that thought I needed your validation." He wanted to respond, to defend himself, but the words refused to come. Instead, he sank back into his chair, defeated. "You really came just to say that?" She sighed. "No, Ethan. I came to tell you to let go. You're still chasing ghosts of what used to be." "Easy for you to say," he muttered. "You're standing on a stage now. I'm the one who lost everything." She tilted her head. "You didn't lose everything. You lost me, and maybe that was the start of your lesson." Her voice softened. "I hope someday you understand that success means nothing if your heart stays hollow." She turned to leave. He stood abruptly, blurting, "Amara, wait." She paused. "I'm sorry," he said. The words sounded raw, almost foreign on his tongue. "For everything." For a moment, she just looked at him, the man she once loved, broken not by loss but by realization. Then she nodded gently. "I know." And with that, she walked away. He stood there long after she was gone, her perfume lingering faintly in the air. The silence in the room felt different now, not heavy, but honest. Later that night, as the city lights flickered outside his window, Ethan scrolled through his phone one last time. He opened one of her photos, Amara laughing, surrounded by the women her foundation had helped. For the first time, he didn't feel envy. He felt respect. And regret. He whispered to the empty room, "You won." A quiet smile touched his lips, the kind that comes with surrender, not defeat. But little did he know, the story wasn't over. Because the next morning, when he arrived at his office, a letter was waiting for him, signed by Amara herself. And what it said would change everything. If you're still watching, don't forget to subscribe and comment below, because in the final part, you'll see how forgiveness can destroy or save a man. The envelope was thick, heavy, and impossibly white against the polished mahogany desk. Ethan's hands trembled as he picked it up. Amara Brooks, the elegant script read across the front. No return address. No flourish. Just her name. He hesitated, then tore it open. Inside, a single sheet of paper, typed neatly. His eyes scanned the words, and his stomach dropped. "Ethan. You've had years to realize what truly matters. Power, wealth, appearances, they're meaningless when honesty and love are absent. I didn't leave to punish you. I left because I could not thrive under your shadow. But I am giving you one last chance, not for me, but for yourself. There is a meeting tonight at the old city hall, 8 p.m. Come alone. No games. No arrogance. Just yourself. I will decide then if anything you say or do matters. Don't be late. Amara." He read it twice, then thrice. His pulse hammered in his ears. Vanessa would never allow him to go, but he knew he had to. This wasn't about her anymore. This was about facing the woman who had haunted his conscience for years. By 7:30 p.m., Ethan was in his car, driving through streets still shimmering with city lights and the echoes of the gala. He rehearsed apologies, excuses, defenses, everything he might need. Yet the closer he got to the old city hall, the more he realized there were no words that could fix the past. The building loomed ahead, abandoned but dignified. Its steps were cracked, and the doors groaned as he pushed them open. Inside, shadows stretched across the walls. "Ethan," a voice said, smooth, calm, and piercing. Amara stepped from the shadows. She wore a simple black dress, her hair tied back. She didn't smile. She didn't glare. She just looked at him, seeing him, weighing him, stripping away every mask he'd ever worn. "Amara," he breathed. I came. You came, she repeated, voice steady. But did you come to apologize, or did you come to convince yourself you're still worthy? He swallowed hard. I came to tell you. I'm sorry. For everything. For all the nights I belittled you, for all the promises I broke, for leaving you, alone. She studied him for a long moment. Words are easy. Actions? They are rare. I know, he whispered. I've spent years realizing that. I can't undo the past, but I can try to be better. For you, for me, for anyone I've hurt. Amara walked slowly toward him, her steps measured. Do you understand why I left? Yes, he said immediately. I understand that I was selfish, cruel, arrogant, and blind to everything that mattered. I understand that I lost the best person I've ever known because I couldn't see beyond myself. She nodded, her gaze softening, but there was still steel in it. Do you also understand that if you fail now, nothing else will save you? Yes, he whispered again. The weight of his failures pressed down on him, but he felt lighter in admitting it. They stood in silence. The air between them thick with history, hurt, and possibility. Then she finally spoke. There's one thing you must do tonight, she said. You must face the consequences of who you were. Not who you think you are now. What do you mean? Amara gestured to the far corner of the hall. There, a large screen flickered to life. Pictures. Videos. Moments from his career, his life, everything exposed. The times he cheated deals, the moments he humiliated colleagues, the lies he told to appear stronger. Vanessa at the gala. Him ignoring pleas. Every mistake laid bare. Ethan's heart pounded. Why show me this? Because, she said, her voice unwavering, you need to see yourself before you can change. Apologies are meaningless without reflection. Tonight, you either confront the truth or live a lifetime in denial. He sank into a chair, breath shaking, his pride crumbling like ash. Every image, every clip, burned into him. And for the first time, he understood the full weight of his arrogance. He stammered. I don't know where to start. Start with honesty, she replied. Tell me what you feel. Don't hide behind excuses. Don't blame anyone else. Just speak. He closed his eyes and began. I feel ashamed. Ashamed that I let my ego destroy something beautiful. That I treated you like you were replaceable. That I didn't see your worth until it was too late. I feel fear. Fear that I can never make it right. And hope that somehow, even in small ways, I can be the man you deserved all those years. Amara watched him quietly. Her eyes glistened, but she didn't speak immediately. Finally, she said, and Vanessa? He flinched. I was trying to replace you. I thought I could distract myself with her, with appearances, with power. But I see now, none of it meant anything. None of it. Only you ever did. Tears slipped down her cheeks. And now? Now, his voice broke. I don't know if you can forgive me. I don't even know if I deserve it. But I need to try. I need to be better. Even if it's just for myself. Amara stepped closer, slowly, and placed a hand on his shoulder. Ethan, what I wanted all along wasn't revenge. It was for you to wake up. And tonight, you finally did. I can't promise everything will be perfect. I can't promise I'll walk back into your life. But I see honesty in you now. And that is enough. He nodded, swallowing hard. I understand. Thank you. For showing me the truth, even when it hurt more than I could bear. She gave a small, bittersweet smile. Go home, Ethan. Reflect. Live honestly. Fix what you can. And if one day, you deserve forgiveness, you'll know. He watched her leave, her silhouette disappearing into the night. The hall was quiet, but his heart thumped wildly. The weight of the past hadn't vanished, but the chains had loosened. For the first time in years, Ethan felt the possibility of redemption. It wouldn't be easy. It wouldn't be instant. But he had started. And that was enough to make him feel alive again. Outside, the city buzzed with life, indifferent to his small epiphany. But Ethan didn't care. He drove home slowly, the first rays of dawn breaking across the skyline. And in his chest, a fragile hope began to bloom, a hope he had long thought impossible. A quiet narrator voice cuts in. Sometimes, life humbles us in ways no one expects. Sometimes, the people we hurt most become the ones who teach us the hardest lessons. And sometimes, even in loss, we find the spark to become better. If this story moved you, hit like, comment your thoughts, and subscribe for more tales that explore love, regret, and redemption. And remember, it's never too late to face your truth.